If you're a playlist junkie, then here's another list you can recreate and listen with me. I already made a list called Metallica vs. Megadeth where I lined up both of their careers and listened to a song from each. I figured since I like Ozzy and Black Sabbath so much, why not do the same? This one's a little harder because both bands sound so much different. Once Ozzy left Sabbath and started his solo career, it was a fresh new beginning. His music had more of a polished, radio-friendly rock sound. Black Sabbath still had more of a basic sound, and it's hard for Ozzy not to overshadow his former band because he was so much more mainstream. But still, I'm going to match up these songs the best I can. 9 rounds. Here we go. Round 1, 1980. Die Young by Black Sabbath from the Heaven and Hell album, and Mr. Crowley by Ozzy from his debut album, Blizzard of Oz. Both have a synth keyboard intro and then launch into an ominous guitar riff. 2 great songs, both in their own way. Round 2, 1981, we have The Mob Rules by Black Sabbath from the Mob Rules album and Over the Mountain by Ozzy from Diary of the Madman. These are 2 of the heaviest tracks both bands had to offer that year. Both will rock your face off, and listen closely to the guitar solo on Over the Mountain. Randy Rhoads seems to play a little tribute to Sabbath there, even though I heard it was a coincidence. Round 3, 1982, War Pigs by Black Sabbath off of the Live Evil album, and then War Pigs by Ozzy on the Speak of the Devil live album. Now, that's a matchup right there. Both bands released a live album the same year. That was some competition. So you can hear Dio and Ozzy singing the same songs recorded around the same time period. So if you want something to compare, there you go. Round 4, we're in 83. We have Disturbing the Priest by Black Sabbath off the Born Again album and Bark at the Moon by Ozzy from Bark at the Moon. Sabbath has the darker edge here, but both songs involve spooky topics and feature sinister laughter. Round 5, we're in 86. Angry Heart by Black Sabbath from Seventh Star and The Ultimate Sin by Ozzy from The Ultimate Sin. You can pick almost anything here, but I think these 2 go up against each other pretty well. They rock. Round 6, we're in 87-88. The Shining by Black Sabbath from Eternal Idol and Miracle Man by Ozzy from No Rest for the Wicked. These ones I chose based on the guitar riffs. The Shining has my favorite of Iommi's on that particular album, and with Miracle Man you have the introduction of Zakk Wylde, and I really like what he does on that opening track. Round 7, we're in 91-92. We have After All by Black Sabbath from Dehumanizer and Hellraiser by Ozzy from No More Tears. They're both very different. They show the different directions both bands were taking. Sabbath still was very gloomy, and Ozzy had more of a radio sound. Both awesome tracks in their own ways. Around this time, Ozzy was supposedly retiring. Of course, it turned out to not be permanent, but something to note is that Black Sabbath actually opened for Ozzy during his final 2 concerts, and shared the stage with him for his last encore. This is when Dio left and Rob Halford filled in, but let's get back to the list. Round 8, we're in 94-95. Eyewitness by Black Sabbath from Cross Purposes, Perry Mason by Ozzy from Osmosis. Both these songs have a rhythm that makes you want to stomp your feet or bang your head. Interesting to note, Geezer plays bass on both, so it's Geezer versus Geezer here. Sure, if I wanted to stick to 95, I could have taken something from the Black Sabbath Forbidden album, but nothing on that can compete with Osmosis, and Eyewitness is possibly my favorite of all the Tony Martin tracks. Round 9, from 2007-2009, Rock and Roll Angel by Black Sabbath as Heaven and Hell from The Devil You Know, Black Rain by Ozzy from Black Rain. Dio returns to Sabbath, the name's changed, but bullshit lawsuits follow anyway. Rock and Roll Angel is a good example of that slow, heavy Iommi riffing. Listen for the bridge. And Black Rain is the most Sabbath-sounding Ozzy song I can think of in his whole career. I mean, the guitar sounds kind of like something from the Master Reality album, and its apocalyptic anti-war lyrics sound like something Geezer might have written. So it seems here both bands are trying to out-Sabbath each other, and that's the perfect way to end. But the battle goes on, and you decide the winner. Make the playlist, try it out, substitute some songs or change it around, and see how it flows.